I'd like to call the regular special meeting of the Ashland Board of Commissioners to order, Wednesday, May 27th. I need a motion to receive and file our call letter.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Need a motion to receive and file the minutes of our special regular meeting held on April 23rd, 2020, of our special call meeting held on May 7th, 2020, and our special regular meeting held on May 14th, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Hearings and reports, city manager or managers or commissioners, I'm sorry. Anybody have anything like to bring before the body?
Mayor, I'm very encouraged about us opening up safely. I've walked the park, I've walked the riverfront, the mall. I'm getting ready to walk downtown this afternoon. Melody Mountain, all the businesses up there, they're starting to open safely. And I'm very encouraged about that. I think everybody is taking precautions, and I'm encouraged about them opening up. People are waiting in line to get to do business. So I'm encouraged.
Thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate those comments, and I can certainly echo those. I believe from a prior, whatever you call it, when I did those little things and ran it on our website as well as on my town, that to try to console our residents a little bit and encourage them that city government was thinking about them every day and encouraging them to do the right thing. And, you know, I think Ashland and Boyd County have done the right thing. I think the reason we have such low numbers of positive cases, of the very, very limited, tragic, but limited deaths that we had, and comparative to the whole state of Kentucky and certainly the United States, we just keep our fingers crossed and keep doing the things they're doing. I'm very proud of the citizens of Ashland and Boyd County because they've obviously tried to do the right thing as far as social distancing, wearing a mask. I know we're seeing every day on TV that people are, you know, making a lot of big fuss about having to wear a mask. For goodness sake, you know, the truth of it is we wear the mask, not for us, it's for anybody we're around. And it does a dual purpose, but primarily to protect your neighbor, protect family members that you're not living every day in the same house or whatever. But you would hope that everybody would understand it that way and show that courtesy to fellow humankind that, you know, I'm wearing this because I care about you guys. And I just wish more people thought that way. But fortunately, in our area, the vast majority do feel that way. And I echo that, Commissioner Goot, that as you go in different stores and places, Riverfront last night, Park yesterday, and people are doing the right thing, and that's all we can hope for. And little by little, maybe things relax. We're not sure what the new normal is going to be or when, but I know a whole heck of a lot of it's going to depend on vaccines. And once that is on the market and available to people, I think that's when a sense of where we came from may be closer to fruition than it is now. But I believe we all need to stay patient. I can see where, you know, based on the governor's dates, our Little League can start June 15th, which is a great thing. I see they're happening in some of our surrounding states where kids are getting back into some kind of youth activity, which is so important. And we are reopening our park to the playground area, and we expect parents and kids to use social distancing and no big grouping. Around our pond, the same thing. We're going to honor the governor's directive as far as our baseball fields until June 15th, but Library Commons, our gazebo area there in the park, it's kind of open for everyone to enjoy it with restrictions, but enjoy it anyway. Anyone else? Good to see you all.
Mayor, I don't
Yes.
have a report. I have a question just so we're all thinking the same way. Have we made any schedule or had any discussion about when we're going to start our budget meetings, because that's should be coming up.
Right. Well, hopefully that I know Mr. Grubb and Ms. Beach are watching this, I'm sure, but maybe hopefully starting next week, working through the city manager, they can make contact with one or two of you, as we've done in the past, to sit down and go over the budget front, start to finish. All of us have been doing some of their own work on it, but those are very important meetings to get your questions asked. And so when we go to a public meeting, that we're able to speak in a common theme of how we're approaching the crisis we're in. I know we have an item later on for discussion, but when we talk about the health benefits item, we've been dealing that with several years. The last 2 years, we have gone in the red over $1 million. No one does that in their homes, and we can't do it with the public dollar without taking some kind of measures. We have an excellent benefit package, and what we're looking at, and we have not arrived at a final product yet. We have involved some insurance experts to look at how we're doing it and what we're doing, and I think what we'll end up with is a very fair benefit package for our employees. It's important to all of us. But, majority of our people in town probably have little or no coverage. And most of the businesses I know of do not provide it anymore. It's a heck of an item to be able to provide. And we're going to continue to do that. But I think if you really analyze without high emotions about what it really means and the kind of benefits package we do offer for the minimal increases that may have to be done, we're not going back to the taxpayers and say, we're going to have to raise some things so we can keep the same or a better benefit package. We can't do that. Those days are gone. And what we want to do is continue to provide a very, very competitive, decent benefits package in an amount we can afford. And this commission is not going to continue to bleed red ink in that particular area of our budget. Everybody, all of our employees have to take ownership in that. 2 years in a row, over $1 million in the red in that category. So the leadership has to address it, and we've been working hard on doing it. We've gotten outside agencies helping us look at everything we're doing and how we've been doing it. And I expect that when we do sit down the next week or so, you're going to be able to look at all that data and to be able to validate what we do with the benefits package. Thanks for bringing it up, Commissioner Clark.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure we had a plan for our public meetings and scheduled budget meetings and all of that, since it is getting close to June.
And Manager, if you'd get on that, I know you are, and you've been we've been meeting almost daily, but try to set up some appointments for our commissioners to be able to come in and meet with the finance office and kind of get the detail on what we're going to be adopting by the end of the month.
Mayor, if you'd like, I can comment in a little bit more depth on that now, if you'd like.
Sure.
I had a meeting Thursday with Tony Michelle on some of the details on the proposed budget changes for fiscal year 2021, and also trying to finalize the numbers. I think I've told you all for quite a while. There's a couple of major moving parts in this that needed to be briefed to you all, and the one that you spent some time on there, Mayor, is probably one of the biggest ones that's a moving target still, and that's the health benefits. We did have at the end of the agenda a discussion point because we were optimistic that we'd have some of those details at this point. Tony Michelle had a meeting with George yesterday. They've got the vast majority of the information, but not everything. So we're very close. So that's one category that we need to look at for potential cost savings. The other is personnel. You all know that we did 11 layoffs that had an impact of about $850,000 on the city. Still calculating what the 17 non-filled vacancies approximately would be, those vacancies not being filled, whittling that number down to make sure we know what that is. And then the proposed reductions in services, looking at that and ensuring that we know what those are, you all are comfortable with that. Consolidating all that information before we talk any other personnel adjustments is crucial. is what I believe. So I think I've covered, I think that's the big picture. I did get, like I said, discussed Thursday with Tony Michelle, and then got a hard copy yesterday of the proposed summary of budget cuts. I need to get with Tony Michelle, and I need to get with the directors to make sure that there's not something recommended on there that would cause them not to be able to accomplish their mission. So I think we're pretty close to getting this done, and want to get those, Commissioner, to your question, get these scheduled as quickly as possible, because we're within about 30 days.
Okay, yes, thank you, appreciate that. And commissioners have any question on that with the city manager? Okay, if nothing else, we'll move into old business. Old business item A.
Mayor, can I interject?
Second reading. Sorry.
I have one other comment for city manager comments. In addition to everything that was already discussed on the park and those openings, there are a couple things that still are not open, and I want the public to know we are diligently trying to ensure that we meet state standards. Some of the language that we use, for example, in our communications comes straight from the mayor and his communications. So everything that you all discussed will be opening. We still have the basketball courts because they're considered a contact sport. Right now, we're looking at opening those on the 29th of June, unless unless the governor says something else on that. Also, as a reminder, we're looking to do a partial reopening of the city building on Monday. And I think I've mentioned it before in this forum, but there are some pretty strict limitations and guidance that the governor's put out. Try to not have more than 50% of the workforce here, not exceed 33% of the building capacity, and then all the other social distancing, face masks, all the other stuff that we're all super familiar with. But I'm 99% sure we're going to launch that on Monday and should have no problems with that. And we definitely want, if customers, if our citizens are having challenges with any other services here, please get a hold of me or any of the staff. We want to rectify those as quickly as possible. And that's all I had, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Manager. Okay, Counselor, old business item A.
A second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled an ordinance of the city of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an amendment to the scope of services to task order 21802 between the city of Ashland, Kentucky and HDR Engineering, Inc. regarding the Phase 2 Stormwater MS4 compliance report preparation and submission to the Kentucky Division of Water.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the like sign. Item B.
Second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled an ordinance of the city of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing and approving change order number 3 between the city of Ashland, Kentucky and Depcon Inc., increasing the contract amount by $13,683 regarding the 16th Street Plaza renovation project for the Department of Engineering.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the like sign. Item C.
Second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled an ordinance of the city of Ashland, Kentucky, amending Part 5 Compensation Plan G, implications of personnel actions, and I, salary increases of the policies and procedures compensation plan and classification plan as adopted by ordinance number 51, series of 2017, as previously amended.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the like sign. Consent agenda.
A resolution of the city of Ashland, Kentucky, adopting, authorizing, and approving the course of action presented by the city manager on the items appearing on the consent agenda for the special regular meeting of the Board of City Commissioners of May 27th, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on any item on the consent agenda? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the like sign. New business, item A.
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled an ordinance of the city of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing and approving change order number 1 between the city of Ashland, Kentucky, and Bluegrass Recreation Sales and Installation, decreasing the contract amount by $1,000 and extending the contract to July 30th, 2020 for the Community Center project for the Department of Community and Economic Development.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? It's a decrease. We don't see those very often. We better vote on it before they take it back. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the like sign. Item B,
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to the city of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing and approving change order number 3 between the city of Ashland, Kentucky and Bristol Cone Ventures 2 LLC, DBA Falcon Structures, extending the contract to July 31, 2020 regarding the community center project for the Department of Community and Economic Development.
So moved.
Second.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the like sign. Item C,
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to the city of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an agreement between the city of Ashland, Kentucky Assisted Housing Authority and Glalo of Ashland LLC to enter into a housing assistance payments contract regarding the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development Section 8 project-based voucher program for the Department of Community and Economic Development.
So moved.
Second.
do you have any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the like sign. Item D,
Did Commissioner Clark, did you recuse on that one?
No, sir. I'm on the Ashland Housing Authority, and this is the Assisted Housing Authority.
Okay, good.
thanks, Counselor.
Item D, first reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to the city of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an agreement with the Salvation Army of Ashland, the subrecipient of $10,000 from the 2019 Program Year Community Development Block Grant CV funds.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I want to make it clear that on item C, I recused myself.
We'll have the clerk note that for the record, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Item E,
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to the city of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an agreement between the city of Ashland, Kentucky and People's Insurance Agency, LLC, to provide property and casualty insurance broker agent placement services from July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021 in the amount of $14,000 and authorizing payment of the same.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the like sign. Item F,
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to the city of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an agreement between the city of Ashland and Bear Properties LLC regarding a parking and construction encroachment on the 8th Street at 739 Carter Avenue on the city's right-of-way and repealing ordinance number 103, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
any discussion?
I just would like to thank the Bears. This is their third venture in the city of Ashland, one up on Winchester, and then they have a place at the mall. And I was up there the other day, and I mean, they've made a great investment in the city, and I'm thankful for them.
Good people, retired Ashland policeman, and an exemplary police officer at the time. So, yeah, appreciate the investment they're making in our whole downtown. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the like sign. On item G is discussion item, health insurance benefits. We've kind of already mentioned it, but I don't know, man, if you have anything further to add, or does anybody have anything they need to add? Well, I'm confident our budget sit downs with finance, we're going to get well adept at what's going on with it. I know one expert has submitted a lot of information, and I got a call from another insurance expert who I think was turning things in today. So finance is going to have some expertise on that. Remember, I've talked about a few months ago that I thought it becomes vitally important regardless, because as I said, we were going in the red $1 million, we need to address that. Forget about COVID in that regard. But now with COVID and the massive loss of revenues the city is undergoing now, we're going to come out of it. We're going to make it. But this is a key part of it, and we'll have to have some adjustments in it. It's still going to be a very solid program, a great program for our employees, and comparatively, compare it anywhere. We've already done a comparison with a lot of cities similar to us, some a little larger, some a little smaller, and we stand tall on all of that. But I believe that we will have a lot of fact and data from experts that do this every day that are also residents who care about the city of Ashland and want to do the right thing by the taxpayers of Ashland. So it's the best of both worlds there. So that's going to be a key thing for our discussion when we sit down with finance. I have nothing else unless some of you all have any closing comments. It's good to see you. Good to see you healthy. We're among the blessed. And Commissioner Good had a little stumble, but there he is. He's through it. I hope that when that happens, you know, it's not proven yet, of course, that you just get stronger from it. But I'm glad you came through that. I'm glad all of us came through it. I've been tested a couple times, and everything's good so far. And I can tell you from being at home with my wife all this period of time, mentally, I don't know where I'm at, nor her for that matter, but it's tough. It's tough adjustment for all of us. And because I know you guys are out and about probably a whole lot less than you normally would be, election or not, you know, that to do with you're always out doing something within the community. So let's stay safe. Let's be good role models and help our fellow man by doing the right thing during this crisis, and do our praying about those people who are affected by it in our area as well as all over the country and the world, and hope we come to some kind of a response that's going to be positive for everybody in the very, very near future. God bless all of you. It's great to serve with you.
Mayor, we need to recess till tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
It's not a recess, it's an adjournment, because it's a special called meeting for tomorrow, because this was a special meeting. So we would go ahead and adjourn at this point, and then we'll have a special meeting at 8:30 in the morning to consider two items that were very time sensitive.
Okay, we're going to get back on just like this again in the morning.
That's correct, Mayor.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we are adjourning this meeting. Take care, folks. Stay safe.